Highnesses, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good morning on what is the first official day of World Government Summit here at Dubai Expo 2020.
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
And the title of this session, are we ready for a new world order? Because I believe what is clear is that we have hit an inflection point. We are certainly living in a unique age of uncertainty and volatility in global affairs.
Good evening, Ape Nation. Guys, what's going on? It is Tuesday, April 5th, 2022, and that clip I just played was from last week, the World Government Summit that took place, I believe, somewhere in Dubai. And normally I wouldn't pay attention to this story at all, but you guys know that I cover geopolitics sometimes. And I actually ended up falling into a rabbit hole the last couple of days. And there's a couple things I want to talk to you guys about. And it all stems from some of the announcements we've heard recently from Joe Biden, the administration. And now it seems that Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum and the World Government Summit are all talking about the same things. So it perked up my attention and got me to doing some research. And I'm going to share with you guys tonight what I found. When we come back from the intro, we'll talk about the market today real quick. AMC, GME, we'll check in on them. I have a small little video to play you from Ukraine just to give you a different perspective on what is going on there on the ground and the propaganda from both sides, and showing you a video that you might have seen already that's been edited down. We'll play the whole thing and tell me what you think. All right, but before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
cue the speeder.
This is the way.
All right, guys, before we dive into this, I just want to say if you have tried to reach out to me in the last couple of days, I had something personal to take care of this weekend, and I dove into this subject matter for probably the last 48 hours, doing my own due diligence, going around, doing some research about these food shortages, and it just concerned me because I hear too many people saying the same thing, repeating the same lines, and I want to try to get to the bottom of it because I don't think they should be fear-mongering in the mainstream media. But maybe they're not. And that's why I decided to do this deep dive and this research into what's going on at the supermarkets, supply chain issues, inflation, and so on. All right. So with that being said, let's get into this. So there's two clips I want to play you. And these are the two clips that really sparked my interest. One's going to be Klaus Schwab and one will be President Biden. And if you notice, they both are singing the same taglines, the same talking points. And I find that interesting. And let me just prove to you what I'm talking about, what got my interest sparked in this in the first place. Cue the video.
You know, we are at an inflection point, I believe, in the world economy. Not just the world economy, in the world. It occurs every 3 or 4 generations. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there. And we've got to lead it. And we've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. So anyway, there's going to be a new world order out there. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. And because both Russia and Ukraine have been the breadbasket of Europe in terms of wheat, for example. We are in the process of working out with our European friends what it would take to help alleviate the concerns relative to food shortages.
History is truly at a turning point. We do not yet know the full extent and the systemic and structural changes which will happen. However, we do know that global energy systems, food systems, and supply chains will be deeply affected. In times of crisis, the role of governments is more important and more relevant than ever.
Okay, so what piqued my interest about these two statements, these two speeches that were given, is that they are both singing the same song. I don't know how it's possible, but somehow to me, Klaus Schwab is creepier than Joe Biden sniffing little girl's hair. Something about Schwab just rubs me the wrong way. He seems like a complete creep, but they are on the same page. They both believe that we are going to see food shortages, we are going to have problems with inflation, and we are going to have supply chain issues and possibly energy issues. Now, we are already seeing some of that right now. And I'm going to show you what I found out, some of the things that are going on to try to mask or hide what is actually occurring with the supermarkets and inflation and supply chain. And the sad thing is, we're just in the very beginning stages of this. We're not going to really see the effects of this for a little while, possibly till the end of the year, if not next year, until we really see dramatic change. All right, so let's go through some of the things that I found out over the past couple days about what grocery store chains and managers of smaller markets are doing in order to keep panic at bay. And of course, right as I'm about to sit down and tell you about this article comes out from the Insider saying Putin tells Western countries their sanctions will lead to food shortages in the poorest regions of the world and cause migration to spike, report says. So try to think of some countries right now that are already struggling, say in South Central America and maybe Mexico. Imagine what food shortages will do to the migrant crisis we're already dealing with right now. And if we are already low because Russia and Ukraine, the breadbasket, are not producing, then that's just going to compound the issue. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk about the three different ways that supermarket chains are trying to hide some of the problems they have with keeping things in stock. First of all, end caps. So as you guys may know, as you've shopped over your life, end caps usually are at the end of the aisles. They are something that's big on sale. They have a huge display for it, tons and tons of product. They're really trying to blow it out right at a price. And as I walked around my supermarket and talked to some of the people who were stocking the shelves, they said, well, now what they're doing is because the supply chain is so screwed up and they can't keep things in stock and other things are overstocked, that the end caps now are usually not one big item. They will take it and break it up. And you might have seen this over the past 2 years since the pandemic. They'll take it and break it up into 3 smaller items on sale. And that way everything looks full because they can't make a whole end cap because they don't have enough product of that particular thing. They will split it up and make 3 different areas. And that way the end caps look full and they can put things on sale that maybe normally wouldn't. But you're not going to probably see those big, huge end caps for a while again. And that's because they are short product. They just don't have that much in stock to be able to put that huge display out. Now, another thing they talked to me about was smaller sections. And this I could really notice when I went to the orange juice section. What I noticed is that orange juice is really shrinking. That section is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But what you are finding are more of the sugary drinks, the, Sunny D's and those type of things that are going in to fill up the space that orange juice used to take because they're having a lot of issues getting orange juice in and fresh orange juice. So you could possibly in your stores start to see a shrinking of the size of certain items on the shelf. So normally, typically, you might have 2/3 of an aisle of orange juice. Now it'll only be 1/3, and then you'll have other things to place in there that aren't as popular, but keep the shelves looking good. Now, another thing, and I'm sure all of you guys know this, anyone who's ever worked in a grocery store, is pulling items to the front, right? Well, I went into my freezer section just to look for chicken and Eggo waffles specifically. And when I went to the Eggo's waffle section, it looked like it was pretty full. But when you open the door and pull back the front 2 boxes, you notice that all the way down on every single shelf, the back is completely empty. It's just a hollow shelf with a couple boxes out front. And obviously supermarkets do that all the time to pull dates forward, right? You want to get those dates out of there that are expiring first, but they literally don't have anything to put behind the other boxes because they just don't have the product. And the third thing they're doing is they're switching out a lot of name brand with generic. So if they're having issues getting, let's say, Ore-Ida potatoes in, they are switching that out maybe for their brand or a cheaper brand and filling the shelves with those, even though they're less popular items, because they can't keep the name brand in stock. And this is something I noticed with Rice Krispies for some weird reason. Can't find Rice Krispies anywhere, but Crispy Rice is in that normal spot where the Rice Krispies would be because they can't keep Rice Krispies in. So it's things like that. And I noticed it all over the stores that I went to over the past 2 days. Every single store, except for 1 or 2, had the same issues. Okay, so what's the conclusion? Are we in the midst of a food shortage? Has it already started? Is it yet to come? And it's probably a little bit of everything. I'd say each and every one of you should go to your own grocery store in your geographical location, your neck of the woods. Are they using some of these tactics? Speak to the manager, find out, take a look around, take some pictures. The fact of the matter is, as sanctions continue and time goes on, we're going to start to feel the effects hitting harder and harder. And if we get a migration spike on top of that, people who are fleeing places where there's famine or food shortages already, that could be a serious issue for this country. All right, it looks like we're running out of time. I'm not going to be able to get to the Ukraine footage. I should probably save it for a video just for tomorrow anyways. But I wanted to show you guys what's going on in Ukraine and give you guys some truths about what I've been able to find out, how the war effort is going for both the Ukrainians and Russia. And I guess that's going to have to wait till tomorrow. So I apologize for the hiatus, but I thought this was important and I wanted to bring it to you guys' attention. And now I'm going to let you go. As always, guys, thank you for all the likes, the views, the comments. My new subscribers, my OGs, I appreciate each and every one of you. We are here to break the wheel. This is Ape Nation. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.